Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Promise to show off, do you really catch a beautiful female ghost? Spiritual energy revival, eerie and rampant. Among classmates, the identity of the Heavenly Master of Jianghedaomen has been exposed. Jiang He said, I am a fake Heavenly Master. How could I know any Taoist techniques? At most, when I was a child, I did a few rituals with my grandfather and mixed meals. Ding. You have been attacked by a female ghost, Merit 1. Meeting system activation conditions. Jiang He said, Hehe, little baby, don't be afraid. Brother won't hurt you. Female ghost. Don't come over. The school flower who witnessed everything said, Jianghe, didn't you say you were a fake celestial master? What did that female ghost run for? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. I am a fake celestial teacher, you come to me for advice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's noon. Yincheng, Xisha District. In a paper binding store. The young paper-cut shop owner Jiang He moved several boxes of funeral supplies onto the black large G car parked at the store entrance. The owner of the big G car is a young man of the same age as the river, with a pretty and handsome appearance. As he scanned the code to make the payment, he smiled and said, Boss, there aren't many young people in this industry. Why did you think of coming to see a funeral supplies store? What the elders left behind is just for me to make a living. Jiang He smiled. Watching the young man drive away, Jiang He couldn't help but sigh, young people nowadays are so fierce. Burying their friends and burning a dozen girls directly. Aren't they afraid that your friends can't bear to daydream for you at night? The so-called girl is actually a paper prick. Young people. It's reasonable to burn a few girlfriends over because I'm afraid my brother will go down and be lonely. In fact, Jianghe is also a young person. He only turned 22 years old last month. This paper binding shop was left to him by his late grandfather. He has been taking over this paper binding shop for 4 years. The paper binding shop is not big, about 60 square meters, divided into 2 levels. The profit margin in this industry is actually quite high. Although sometimes there may not be business for 7 or 8 days, it is still not a problem to make ends meet. Returning to the store, Jiang He opened his phone and started watching a movie. After watching for a few minutes, suddenly a message popped up in the WeChat classmate group. Jiang He frowned. This high school classmate group has always been blocked by him, and when a message pops up, it indicates that someone like himself is there. My high school classmates from the past have now graduated from universities and entered prestigious enterprises. Some people have returned home and inherited their property, some continue to pursue graduate studies, and some have gone abroad for development. However, they haven't even obtained their high school graduation certificate, so they really don't have much in common with these people. The key is that they chat in the group, and usually start pretending to be forced while chatting, which is very uncomfortable. So Jiang He rarely talks in the group, at most he just silently dives and peeks at the screen. Open the WeChat group. The group is very active and has talked about more than 10 pages of content. It seems that a classmate named Tianjiwen has recently returned from abroad and is going to organize a reunion with his classmates. The 43rd person in the group, Jiang He, remained silent, so Tianjiwen took a look at Jiang He. Jiang He couldn't bring himself to participate in such gatherings. But Tianjiwen has deliberately taken care of himself, so it's not good to refuse again. So he replied, Welcome Tianjiwen back to China, and I will do my best to go then. Don't try your best, make sure to come then. Once the location and time are determined, I will send you a private message. Tianjiwen gestured again and sent a voice message. Without waiting for Jiang He to reply, someone typed and said, Tianjiwen, you just returned to China and may not be very clear. Jiang He in our class is a busy person. He is different from us ordinary people. He is a legitimate descendant of the Taoist sect, and seems to be some kind of celestial teacher. How can he have time to pay attention to us? This statement has a hint of mockery. Jiang He glanced at the speaker. Su Jiangwo. I have a slight impression. It seems that when I was in high school, I was not very good at dealing with myself, and even used my hand. Heavenly Master. Is it the kind of master in movies who has great powers and can defeat demons and demons? I'll go, Jianghe. Are you really a celestial master? Do you know how to catch ghosts? In an instant, the group became even more lively and lively. Someone created a shocking emoji, while others copied and played happily. Rivers are helpless. The phrase, I am the Heavenly Master, comes from a will before my grandfather passed away. At that time, when the old man was dying, his mind was a bit unclear, and he said he wanted to pass on the position of Heavenly Master to himself. I mentioned this to several high school classmates myself, but I never thought it would reach Su Jiangwo's ears. He made a cracked expression. Ko Zi explained, it's already 2021, everyone should believe in science. I'm just a fake celestial master. Although I've learned some Taoist techniques and performed several spells with the old man, they were all for the sake of making a living. If you really want me to defeat demons and demons, I think I'll be scared to death by ghosts. The other classmates in the class began to joke. Even a girl named Li Xiaolan is clamoring to worship Jiang He as her teacher. On the other hand, Tian Jiwen took another look at Jianghe and asked, Jianghe, do you know how to handle things? Jiang He said, I know a bit. A few years ago, in rural areas, I liked to invite people to do funeral arrangements. I followed my grandfather to do a few. Of course, my main purpose was to go eat. Tian Jiwen said, that's a good relationship. There's something going on at my construction site, and my dad is about to find someone to do a legal ceremony. Why don't you feel a bit burdened and just do me a favor? Jiang He was surprised and said, I am a fake celestial master. Are you asking me for help? Tian Jiwen said, you also said, believe in science. If you ask me, there's nothing wrong, mainly because those workers are too scared to start work, so my dad wants to find someone to do a legal ceremony and act like a facade, to appease and soothe people's hearts. At this point, Jiang He could only reply, okay, can I prepare for it? Tian Jiwen made a fist-hugging expression and said, you send me the location information, I'll pick you up later. Jiang He immediately added Tian Jiwen as a friend and sent a private message with a location. However, in the group of classmates, there were many discussions. Su Jiangwo said, I happen to be in Yinqing today. Tian Jiwen, where is your construction site? Let's meet together and see how Master Jiang started the altar. Li Xiaolan. Go together, go together. Someone agrees. Jiang He ignored all of this. It's already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Since we have agreed to help Tian Jiwen's family with the construction site, we naturally need to prepare the tools. He put away his phone and went to the bedroom on the second floor. He rummaged through the boxes and cabinets, and found a worn-out suitcase from them. Open the box. Inside is a peachwood sword, a set of black and yellow Bagua Taoist robes, as well as Taoist crowns, vermilion shoes, square skirts, incense burners, 5 fruits, and wooden carvings of the 6 Ding and 6 Jia divine generals. This box is a relic left by the old man, and the things inside are the equipment that the old man used to do things in the countryside. Since the old man's death, Jiang He has opened a suitcase for the first time. Looking at the Taoist robe and crown inside the box, Jiang He felt a bit dazed. He was abandoned by his parents since childhood. According to the old man, he picked himself up from the Yellow River, so he named himself Jianghe. And the old man, who had no children, also raised the river as his own grandson. 4 years ago, the old man passed away due to illness. On his deathbed, he instructed Jiang He to take good care of the paper binding shop, so Jiang He dropped out of school before the college entrance examination and took over the paper binding shop. Jiang He has no complaints about this. If it weren't for the old man, I would have died by the Yellow River long ago. For a long time. Jiang He regained his senses and took out the Taoist robe from the suitcase. Under the Taoist robe, there is a rusty small seal and 2 tattered books bound with blue sealed leather thread. This small seal is the Yangping Capital Governance Merit Seal. 2 dilapidated books, namely Shangqing Dadong Zhenjing and Dao Fu Zhenjie. These are all relics left by the old man. According to legend, Zhang Daoling, the founder of Longhu Mountain, was once given the old lord's personal teaching in his dream, and was bestowed with 2 treasures. The 3-5 slaying evil female and male swords and the Yangping Ji Du Gong seal. The Yangping Capital Governance Merit Seal has become the inheritance token of the Longhu Mountain lineage of Heavenly Masters throughout history, also known as the Heavenly Master Seal. The Shangqing Dadong Zhenjing can also be found online, also known as the 3 Heavens Dragon Book, 9 Heavens Tai Zhendao Jing, and 39 Chapters Jing. It is said to have developed from the Huangting Jing, and is known as a unique Taoist book, claiming that one can become an immortal by reading it 10,000 times. Jiang He didn't pay much attention to this. The Yangping Jidu Gongyin is definitely a replica. After all, during his lifetime, besides selling funeral supplies, the old man occasionally made cameo appearances as a Taoist and performed rituals to ward off evil spirits. It was reasonable for him to imitate a piece of print and pretend to be an expert. Can a legitimate Heavenly Master seal rust like this? The Shangqing Dadong Zhenjing and Dao Fu Zhenjie are probably copied by the old man from the internet, with a dense collection of flyhead boys inside, seemingly made by the old man as annotations and records of cultivation experience. Jianghe once considered these things to be peerless secret books for a period of time, but only discovered them after practicing its useless. What kind of society is it now? Who still believes in these? Chapter 2. Wori, this is not scientific. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Anyway, these are all relics left by the old man. Jiang He carefully put the small seal and 2 ancient books back into the suitcase. He put on a Taoist robe, red shoes, a Taoist crown, a peachwood sword, and found a handbag to store the necessary incense candles, 5 fruits, and divine general wood carvings for the cooking. Then he went downstairs, opened his computer, and searched for how to open an altar and cook on Baidu Baiki. There are even videos of opening the scene online. In addition, the Taoist mnemonic that I learned from the old man back then, walking through the scenes, calming and comforting people's hearts, is absolutely no problem. Soon, night fell. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. Tian Jiwen sent a message, saying, Jianghe, my dad happened to pass by your place. He said he would go pick you up and see you at the construction site. In no time. An Audi car parked at the entrance of the store. Tian Jiwen's father got off the car. He had a fat figure, slightly balding, and stood at the entrance of the store with a leather bag between his legs. After a moment of contemplation, he walked into the store and looked at Jiang He, asking, Are you Xiao Jiang? Jiang He nodded and smiled, Are you Uncle Tian? Sit down, please. Speaking, he pulled over a chair. This middle-aged man is Tian Jiwen's father, named Tian Qingkai. Tian Qingkai sat down and looked at the decoration inside the store, but ultimately his gaze fell on Jiang He. Seeing Jiang He wearing a Taoist robe and a peachwood sword on the counter, he couldn't help but laugh and say, Your equipment is quite complete. You should be about the same age as Jiwen. How did you think of doing this? The shop was left by my grandfather. When I was a child, I learned a few martial arts from him. Actually, I just made a living. To be honest, in every river. However, Tian Qingcai's gaze moved slightly. When he was young, he had encountered evil and was fortunate enough to be saved by a master to get through that calamity, so he was very respectful of some things. Xiao Jiang, has Jiwen talked to you about this compensation? Uncle, your son and I are classmates. It's just a small favor. What else are we discussing about compensation? Jiang He smiled and said, besides, I haven't finished the matter yet. Let's wait until the trouble is resolved before we talk. Okay. Tian Qingkai said, Uncle, the project schedule is tight, so let's not delay. How about going to the construction site now? Lock the store door and Jiang He sits in Tian Qingkai's Audi car. The vehicle started and soon arrived at a construction site in the suburbs. At this moment, the construction site is pitch black, with only a bright light in front of the project department office built with color steel rooms. The Audi car was parked in front of the project department office. In the office, Tian Jiwen, Su Jiangwo, and a female classmate walked out together. Old classmate, you can count it. Tian Jiwen was very enthusiastic and gave Jiang He a hug as soon as he came up. The female classmate's name is Li Xiaolan, the one who is clamoring in the group to learn from her teacher. As for Su Jiangwo, he had a very bad relationship with Jiang He in high school. Now that they met, he shook hands briefly and smiled. Li Xiaolan, haven't you seen the practice before? You'll have to watch Master Jiang's performance better later. Jiang He smiled without speaking. On the side, Tian Qingkai couldn't help but frown. However, considering that these young people are all classmates, they didn't say anything. Jiang He moved out a table from the office and began to visit the divine generals, wood carvings, incense candles, and 5 fruits. At this moment, Tian Qingkai suddenly received a phone call, his face slightly changed, and he said, I have something urgent. I need to go to the police station, Jianghe. Could you please help me? Speaking, he got into the car and left. As soon as Tian Qingkai left, Su Jiangwo began to become a demon again. He took out a cigarette and handed it to Tian Jiwen. When smoking for Jiang He, he reached out his hand and took the cigarette back. With an apologetic expression on his face, he said, I'm sorry, Master Jiang. I almost forgot. I saw online that your Heavenly Master had to bathe, burn incense, recite scriptures, and fast before opening the altar. Smoking is not allowed, right? He lit his own cigarette and smiled, saying, I was just chatting with Tian Jiwen. It is said that a worker on this construction site ran into a female ghost in red while working night shifts. Some people were hit by ghosts and ate a mouthful of cement, almost suffocated to death. Now the workers on the construction site dare not start work anymore. Master Jiang, let's have a fight together. You must help this and solve that female ghost in red. Although the words were spoken like this. However, Su Jiangwo clearly did not take the female ghost in red clothes seriously. In his opinion, the workers working on the construction site are all rural people, illiterate, with little knowledge. In what era are they still superstitious? He came here today mainly to argue with the river. Weren't you very impressive back then? What about now? I graduated from Su Jiangwo University and started working in municipal engineering. With my uncle's connections, I strive for a bright future. Where is your river? Guarding a small shop selling supplies for the dead. Su Jiangwo's thoughts, how can the river not be clear? The paper binding shop was left by the old man. The old man's last words were to keep an eye on the paper binding shop. If it weren't for the old man picking himself up from the Yellow River and raising himself to adulthood, he might have lost himself long ago. The old man's will must be followed, otherwise he would still be a person. Ignoring Su Jiangwo. Set up the Dharma altar by the river, take out the peachwood sword, recite words in your mouth, and start making. Until now, Jianghe also believes that doing things today is just a passing act. It can be very fast. His face changed. In the darkness, a red shadow appeared unexpectedly. Suddenly, a wind rose. Woo 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 woo, the een wind blows, like ghosts crying and wolves howling. In the air, the temperature drops sharply, giving people a feeling of being in an ice cellar. What is that? Li Xiaolan screamed and pointed towards the night sky. In the night sky, a female ghost in red slowly drifted over. Ghost. Red-clothed female ghost. Just now, Su Jiangwo, who was calm and composed, roared like a pig, Tianjiwen, there are really ghosts on your construction site. Sleeping slot. Tianjiwen was stunned. Their first reaction was to run away. But I found that my body seemed to have been filled with lead and couldn't be moved at all. And Jiang He, holding a peachwood sword, stared blankly at the approaching female ghost, with only one thought in his heart, worry. This is not scientific. The female ghost is getting closer and closer, with a clear view of her appearance. She was dressed in a bloody robe, with a head of black hair dancing in the wind. Her pale complexion was bleeding from her 7 orifices, and she was staring at the river. Her fierce face showed a chilling smile. Jiang He only felt a tingling sensation on his scalp, and a chill rose from his soul straight up to the spiritual cover. He wanted to run, but found that his body was completely out of control, and he couldn't even make a sound. Wow! The female ghost's blood clothes stirred and quickly surged, rolling towards the river. Jiang He's spirit was momentarily lost, and even his thinking seemed to have stagnated. However, just as the surging blood clothes touched the river, ding! A crisp sound echoed in my mind. You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. Meeting system activation conditions. The system has been activated and is currently being bound. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Ghost Girl, why don't we take a break? You are listening at novelfull.audio. In my mind, a crisp voice came. Jiang He's spirit was shaken, and his dazed thinking regained clarity. But the body is still out of control. The female ghost in red withdrew her blood clothes, and her blood-dripping eyes showed a hint of curiosity. Seems to be thinking, why was this human being hit by himself without any response? After gazing at the river for 3 seconds, she waved her blood clothes and waved to the river. The river stepped forward and mechanically walked towards the female ghost. I'll wipe it. Jiang He is about to cry. He wanted to stop, but found that he couldn't control his legs at all. I could only watch myself helplessly, following the female ghost in red towards the building. Ding! At this moment, the crisp voice in my mind rang out once again. The system has been successfully bound. The beginner gift package is being distributed. Successfully distributed, please enter the storage space by yourself to check. What sound? System. Is that thing written in System Stream novels? In recent years, Jiang He has read many novels in the store, and his favorite is System Flow. Just now, before he could react, he heard the system prompt sound for the second time and couldn't help but feel excited. It's been 22 years, and finally my cheat has been launched. He saw a familiar interface floating in his mind. Name. Jiang He, age. 22 years old, practice. Currently unavailable, cultivation. Currently unavailable, magic weapon. Currently unavailable, merit value. 1 point, storage space. 10 cubic meters, dot. Jiang He was stunned. What kind of bullshit 3-no system is this? There is currently no one to help with the current predicament. By the way, there's also a beginner gift pack. Jiang He looked at the storage space again and immediately spotted a cloth bag lying in the corner, shimmering with faint golden light. A beginner gift package has been detected. Do you want to activate it now? Yes, no. In front of me, two options popped up. Do you still need to think about it? Jiang He directly chose, yes. At the next moment, the system prompt sound on the ear will ring again, ding. The beginner's gift pack has been opened. Congratulations host, you have obtained the cultivation secret technique, Jianghedaomen manual. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the true solution of Taoist symbols. Ding. You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. Jiang had discovered that his attribute interface had changed. After the cultivation method column, which was originally temporarily unavailable, the words Jianghedaomen manual and Daofu true explanation were added. The most important thing is that a plus sign appears after the cultivation column. At this moment, Jiang He followed the female ghost uncontrollably into the building and climbed to the second floor. His gaze, however, was firmly fixed on the system properties panel. Is this plus sign? A deep blue dot mode. And merit value. This kind of thing seems to only be seen in the novels of the wilderness. The river's heart moved. Consciousness is moving towards that plus point. Do you choose to convert merit points into mana? Yes, no. In front of me, two more options appeared. Jiang He directly chose, yes. In my mind, the system prompt sounds again. Conversion successful. Merit value 0.1. Mana +10. On the attribute panel, the temporarily none after the cultivation column quickly changed to Qi refining realm level 1. Jiang He only felt a warm current surging out of his body, a magical power emerging out of thin air. In the next moment, the yin energy bound on his body dissipated automatically, and he regained control of his body. Because the body was previously controlled by female ghosts. After regaining control of the body at this moment, the river came to a stop. The red-clad female ghost floating in front of the river suddenly turned around and looked at the river. The river is at a loss. Discovered by a female ghost. What should we do? How about? I pretend to be still under her control. But the female ghost has all stopped, should I stop? Or move forward? So Jiang He could only show a big white tooth and gave a silly smile to the female ghost. The female ghost was taken aback. On that pale face, a hint of confusion appeared. What is the situation? Is this person a fool? He actually smiled at me. She waved to the river again. Ding. You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. In his mind, the system prompted the sound, and Jiang He only felt a headache, but soon returned to normal. Are you trying to control me? Jiang He looked at his nose at his heart, pretended to be under control again, and walked towards the staircase. After taking a few steps, I started to take a step in place. Because it is an unfinished building, the stairs are very dirty, and stepping on the river in place splashes cement ash. He stood still, secretly scrutinizing the female ghost with the corner of his eye. I'll wipe it. I've already walked up, why are you still standing in place? You should go. How can I act if you don't leave? Female ghost. She took a deep glance at the river and then whined. Drifting down the stairs towards the third floor. Ding. You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. In my mind, the prompt sound rang again. Jiang He's head hurts again. This should be caused by the female ghost's invasion of yin qi and her desire to control herself. He didn't care, instead his face was full of joy. This merit value is too easy to earn. Throwing away the 1 point spent on improving one's cultivation, I earned an additional 2 points. System, convert, continue to convert for me. Ding. Conversion successful. Merit value 0.2. Mana +20. Jiang He's figure trembled, although his cultivation was still a crucial part of the qi refining realm, he could clearly feel the growth of his magic power within his body. At this point, he had already reached the 4th floor. Why did this female ghost take me to the building? Jiang He stared at the back of the female ghost and thought to himself, this building hasn't been topped yet, it seems to be 9 floors high. Does she want to take me to the rooftop and create a jumping accident? Thinking to himself, the river stopped in its tracks. Why are you walking so fast? It has a total of 9 floors and will reach its peak in no time. Do you still have any merit points? As soon as he stopped, the female ghost began to wave. Ding! You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. On the 5th floor, the river stopped again. 6th floor merit value +1. When she reached the 7th floor, the female ghost stopped in place for a full minute, then circled around the river, seemingly suspecting that a ghost had been born. She waved again. Merit value +1 more. 8th floor. Merit value +1. At this moment, Jiang He noticed that the figure of the female ghost seemed to have become somewhat blurred, as if she was exhausted. Even ghosts can get tired. Because this building has not yet been capped, when we reach the 9th floor, there are only half a meter high walls and steel pipe spliced iron frames left next to it. Jiang He pretended to be dull and still seemed to be controlled by the female ghost, but his feet had taken root. No matter how the female ghost waved her small hand, she refused to move a step. Ding! You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. Ding! You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of +1. Ding! You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of 0.5. Jiang He. Is there still 0 or whole merit value? He was stunned for a moment and looked at the red-clad ghost, who was a bit crazy and panting. He pondered, girl, are you too tired? Why don't we take a break and come back later? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Damn it, the female ghost was scared and jumped off the building. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Woo 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 woo. On the unfinished rooftop, there are gusts of gloomy wind. The female ghost exploded her hair and her black hair danced wildly, rolling towards the river. What kind of situation is this? How could this person break free from their control? And isn't he afraid of me? The most crucial thing is that the female ghost felt the increasing yang energy on the river's body. It gave her the illusion that once she got close to the river, she would probably be directly evaporated by the strong yang energy and disappear into ashes. Boom! The wildly surging black hair roared towards the river. However, with loud thunder and small raindrops, the female ghost had long been weak, and this blow did not cause any substantial damage to the river. Ding! You have been attacked by a female ghost, with a merit value of 0.5. It's really a decimal point, but it's actually rounding up to the 0.5 just now. Jiang He flicked his broken bangs with his hand and gave a sweet smile to the female ghost. Girl, why don't you do it again? At the same time. At the entrance of the project office where the color steel room is built. As the female ghost gradually weakened, the petrified Tian Jiwen, Su Jiangwo, and Li Xiaolan recovered. This. Is there really a ghost? Li Xiaolan is a bit stuttering. She is beautiful and has a good personality. When she was in high school, she was known as the school flower. I heard that I am currently an online writer with a considerable reputation. My novels have even been adapted into web dramas and adapted into screen dramas. She came to the construction site today because she is currently preparing a novel with a supernatural theme, so she wants to take a closer look at how Jiang He started his work. At the same time, She also wants to communicate with Jiang He and inquire about some knowledge of Taoism, to enrich her outline creativity. Who would have thought surprisingly, I really hit a ghost. And Su Jiangwo sat directly on the ground. He gasped for breath and shouted, "My goodness. Tianjiwen, is there really a ghost on your construction site?" As he spoke, he seemed to remember something and got up, pulling Li Xiaolan and Tianjiwen as they were about to run, saying, "Hurry up, or else when that female ghost clears the river, it's our turn." "No way." Tianjiwen glanced at the building that Jiang He had entered and said, "Jiang He came to my construction site to do the ritual, let alone a classmate. How could I just leave?" Taking a deep breath, Tianjiwen restrained his fear and ran towards the building. Li Xiaolan glanced at Su Jiangwo and followed Tianjiwen into the building. As a woman, she is very timid. At this moment, some legs tremble with fear. But in my heart I'm still a bit excited. Red-clad female ghost. In this world, there are really ghosts. If I could write this plot into my new book, it would definitely go viral. Damn it. Su Jiangwo's face turned black. What are you pretending to be pushy about? That's not a gangster, it's not that many people have enough strength to deal with it. That's a ghost. You guys went, didn't you guys die? He gritted his teeth and cursed inwardly, then turned around and ran outside the construction site. While running, he took out his phone and dialed the 110 emergency hotline. "Hello. Police uncle, I want to report the case. I bumped into a ghost." And at this moment. Roof. The female ghost with no blood on her face and blood dripping from her 7 orifices was somewhat bewildered. Even the somewhat illusory ghost bodies were trembling, feeling a feeling of fear that had never occurred since they became ghosts. The blood clothes on my body, trembling, kept dripping with blood. Step back slowly with your figure. As I watched the female ghost retreat further and further, almost to the edge of the rooftop, it was about to fall. What's the point? Jiang He walked cautiously forward and advised, "Miss, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." Afraid. At this moment in the river, who knows what fear is? He only knows that if this female ghost in red runs away, then his merit value today will be earned to the end. I waited for 22 years before the cheat was launched. If I didn't make a good profit, would I be able to justify myself? Encountering the next ghost, who knows, it will take forever. The female ghost panted heavily and curiously said, "Are you not afraid of me?" Jiang He was serious and tugged at his gossiping robe, saying, "You've seen it too. I'm from a Taoist sect. Besides, if you don't bleed from your 7 orifices and look pretty, why should I be afraid of you?" The female ghost saw the river take another step forward and immediately retreated again. She spoke at lightning speed and asked, "Who are you? What do you really want to do?" "I haven't harmed anyone before, it was they who built a house here that disturbed me. I was just trying to scare them out of here." Jiang He only then remembered the right thing. Today it's for Tianjiwen's family to handle things. Immediately speaking up to persuade, he said, "This is my classmate's construction site. I came over today to help him solve the problem. Ghost girl, meeting is fate. Why don't we sit down and solve this matter well?" At this moment, a series of footsteps sounded. Tianjiwen and Li Xiaolan finally caught up. They were originally worried that the river would be poisoned by female ghosts, and their hearts were burning with anxiety. However, it wasn't until the rooftop that I realized it seems that I have overthought it. The female ghost had already retreated to the edge of the rooftop, trembling and looking like she was scared to pee. Looking at the rivers. He chattered incessantly and was actually persuading the female ghost not to take it too seriously. He wanted to talk to his brother about something and even sit down with the female ghost to talk about life. People who don't know still think that Jiang He is a villain who is bullying a little girl. Tianjiwen and Li Xiaolan were completely bewildered. What kind of situation is this? However, Jiang He did not pay attention to the arrival of Li Xiaolan and Tian Jiwen. He reached out and took out a box of cigarettes from under his bagua dao pao. He took out one, slapped it, lit it, and smoked it. After taking a deep breath and spitting out a cigarette ring, he pointed to Tian Jiwen and said, "Girl, let me introduce you to my classmate Tian Jiwen. This construction site belongs to his family. Coincidentally, let me tell you about this matter." The female ghost glanced at Tian Jiwen, then quickly withdrew her gaze and looked at Jiang He with caution, afraid that Jiang He would take advantage of her distracted moment and do something to scare the ghost. Jiang He said, "You said his construction site disturbed you. I can probably guess. Is it your body buried below? So, how about I take charge and have Tian Jiwen dig out your bones and find a new tomb for you? When you move into a new house and have a new home, the construction site of the old Tian family can start normally, and the workers can continue to work and earn money as usual. Everyone is happy." The female ghost tilted her head, thought for a moment, and shook her head. Jiang He suddenly became angry and sneered, "Don't be shameless. Do you think I don't have the means to deal with you?" The female ghost panicked and quickly said, "You can move me out, but I have a condition that you must burn some money for me when the time comes." Tian Jiwen. This turtle, who has just returned from studying abroad, is now shrouded in shock and mist. He nodded heavily and quickly promised, "Don't worry, this is what my classmate's family does. Don't talk about money, I'll burn you a few villas. Compensation for demolition and relocation. This requirement is not excessive and reasonable. Okay, my bones are located at the southwest corner of this building downstairs. Once you have chosen the cemetery, go find me at the southwest corner downstairs at night, and I will appear." The female ghost's 7 orifices are bleeding, and she looks even weaker. "Miss, don't bleed anymore. You've made yourself feel empty, and I feel heartbroken watching." Jiang He walked towards the female ghost and said, "How about taking a good rest and chatting with my brother? Also, the technique you used to attack me with just a wave of your little hand is quite magical. Can you hit me a few more times when you rest? Don't come over." In front of the female ghost, a line of blood characters instantly appeared. As I watched the river get closer and closer to me, I immediately turned around, my blood clothes spread out, and with a crash, I jumped directly from upstairs. No. Jiang He let out a scream, feeling heartbroken and rushing towards the edge of the roof, reaching out his hand to catch the female ghost. However, caught a loneliness. He only saw a red shadow flicker and then disappear without a trace. A female ghost jumps off a building probably won't die from falling, right? Lying on the edge of the rooftop, Jiang He breathed a sigh of relief before finally realizing it. At this moment, Tian Jiwen and Li Xiaolan had already walked behind him. Jiang He stood up and patted his chest. Seeing the two of them staring at him with strange expressions, he thought about what he had just done, which might have been a bit excessive. He quickly put on a look of fear and patted his chest, saying, "I'm scared to death. This female ghost is really fierce. She almost fell here today." Tian Jiwen. "I'm not buying it. Is the female ghost fierce? You really forced a female ghost to jump off a building, don't you have any idea what the situation is?" Li Xiaolan, on the other hand, carefully scrutinized the river. After a while, he was puzzled and said, "Jiang He, didn't you say you were a fake celestial master? Why did that female ghost jump off the building when she saw you? P.S. The new book set sail. If anyone likes to read it, please give them some flower review tickets, give them tips, and get a monthly update. Thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. You can't always stare at a ghost pulling wool. You are listening at novel full.audio. Don't blame me again. When chatting in the group, I was indeed a fake celestial master. Isn't this a cheat that has been launched? However, Jiang He will definitely not reveal anything about the system. So he could only spin around and say, I am very gentle. If I had to blame that female ghost for being too timid, it might be because he saw me wearing a Taoist robe and thought I was some kind of Taoist expert. Hehe. Li Xiaolan rolled her eyes, obviously not believing Jiang He's words. You made us believe in science before. What about the outcome? You pull yourself to death and talk about life with a female ghost. Come on, explain to me with science what's going on with this female ghost. When Su Jiangluo in the group said that Jiang He was a descendant of the Heavenly Master, she was already curious. At night, she witnessed Jiang He's frightened female ghost jumping off the building to subvert the three views, which made her even more curious. She only felt that this classmate, who had not had much interaction for several years, was full of secrets. The rooftop is not a place to speak. The three of them went downstairs and arrived at the project department office. Jiang He, what should we do next? Tianjuan asked, just follow what the female ghost said. Jiang He thought for a moment and said, arrange a cemetery for the female ghost, help her move her bones, burn some paper money villas, and when she moves to a new home, she won't continue to be a demon on your construction site. After a long sigh of relief, Tianjuan smiled and said, old classmate, you really scared me today. By the way, I'll give my dad a call. He's been quite upset about this lately. He took out his phone and started calling. Dad, don't worry, my classmate is a descendant of the Heavenly Master. You were not present at the scene and didn't see that female ghost. That female ghost was so scared that she jumped off the building by my classmate. In the police station. Tian Chengkai looked bewildered. He suspected that he had hallucinations. Female ghost jumped off the building in fear of the river. What's going on here? Is this kid, along with the master, who saved him back then, both considered experts? After pondering for a few seconds, Tian Chengkai arrived and said, you can arrange the cemetery matter now and try to solve it tomorrow. After giving his son an instruction, Tian Chengkai hung up the phone. Although the haunted incident on the construction site has almost been resolved, he is not happy at all. Because 3 days ago, a homicide case broke out on the construction site. At that time, the incident of the female ghost in red clothes on the construction site was causing a great uproar. Some people encountered the female ghost while using the toilet in the middle of the night, while others were being warmed by the female ghost while working night shifts. Some people have encountered the world of ghosts hitting walls, causing panic and workers to go on strike. Because he had once bumped into evil, when he was young, Tian Chengkai was still very cautious about this kind of thing and immediately announced a 5-day shutdown, preparing to find someone to solve the matter. Who would have thought that on the night he announced the suspension of work, something happened? A female worker working on the construction site died tragically in the dormitory. At that time, her mouth and nose were filled with cement, just like the brother who was hit by ghosts. That female worker is a married couple working together on the construction site. Men are steel workers, women are laborers. Due to the work stoppage on the same day, the man and his colleagues went out for a drink at night and stayed there until 3 a.m. before the dormitory. He came back drunk and fell asleep, only to wake up the next morning to realize my wife is already cold. At that time, the man reported the case. But after investigation and evidence collection by the police, it was found that there were no signs of fighting in the room, and there were no scars on the body. The possibility of homicide has been preliminarily ruled out. The forensic doctor is preparing to further dissect the body for examination and evidence collection, but the family members of the deceased do not agree, saying that even if everyone is dead, it is absolutely unacceptable to waste the body again. There are customs in their hometown, and if they do so, the deceased will not be peaceful. In addition, there were rumors of ghosts on the construction site. The family members of the deceased and Tian Qingkai unanimously believed that this was a supernatural case, so they reached a private mediation agreement. Tian Qingkai compensated the family members with 380,000 life money and 30,000 yuan in burial expenses. The deceased's family has no objection. After signing the mediation agreement and receiving the money, he returned home with the body on the same day. Today, suddenly, I brought a large group of relatives to the city police station and wanted money again. At this moment, Tian Qingkai was sitting on a chair in the hallway of the city police station. On the chair opposite him, there are several men of all sizes. These few men are from the deceased's family. They hold the deceased's photos, each with a fierce and evil spirit, staring fiercely at Tian Qingkai. In sharp contrast to the fierce and rough mother family members, it was the deceased's husband. His name is Ma Laowu. He is thin and skinny, with red eyes and bloodshot eyes. He hunched over, as if he had been hit too hard by his wife's death. However, no one noticed a ghostly figure on Ma Laowu's body. It was the ghost lying on his back that made his waist unable to straighten. The ghostly figure was somewhat illusory, and its appearance was not very clear, but it seemed to be somewhat similar to the woman in the last photo. Soon, a man and a woman led Tian Qingkai and others into an office. This man and woman, both dressed in black windbreakers with extraordinary demeanor, asked directly, "We have probably understood the process of the case. Ma Laowu, since you have all reached a settlement, why did you come to the police station again?" "I didn't make a fuss." Ma Laowu lowered his head and dared not speak. On the side, a man holding a portrait of the deceased stared and said, "How can you talk? My sister is only 40 years old and died on their construction site like this. He wanted to send us for 380,000 yuan. Dreaming." The man pointed at the man and questioned, "What kind of person are you? How do I feel like you don't look like a police officer? Where are your documents?" The man lit a cigarette and smiled, "You don't have to worry about who I am. This case has already been handed over to me. Coincidentally, I also need to investigate this case. After tomorrow's dawn, I will take someone to open the coffin for autopsy. After the autopsy is completed and the culprit is caught, we can discuss compensation again. How about that?" "No way." Ma Laowu's face slightly changed. He lifted his head and looked at the man with red eyes, saying, "My wife has already been buried. If we open the coffin for autopsy again, she will not be peaceful. Besides, this is ghost murder, I won't make a fuss about it." Speaking with a hoarse voice, he pointed at the group of burly men and roared, "It's them, it's what they're going to do. They are my wife's older brother, younger brother, cousin. They forced me to come and make a fuss, wanting another sum of money. And at this moment, Jiang He just came out of the construction site. He turned back 3 times and looked at the building with reluctance, wanting to go to the southwest corner below the building to talk to the female ghost about his feelings. But he was also afraid of scaring away the female ghost. It's just that this female ghost is too timid, and besides, she's already exhausted enough today. Let her rest for the night first, and I'll come find her again tomorrow. Jiang He feels that. I need to find more ghosts to brush my merit points. After all, wool harvesting cannot always focus on a ghost, can it? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Female drivers are even more terrifying than ghosts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tian Jiwen and Li Xiaolan both drove. Their car is parked next to the project office built in the color steel room. Approaching the car, Tian Jiwen said, "Jiang He, I'm really sorry. I have to go to the police station, so I can only trouble Li Xiaolan to take you back." "Don't worry, Tian Jiwen. I promise to send Jiang He back." Li Xiaolan's eyes lit up. Wait until Tian Jiwen drives away. Li Xiaolan opened the passenger door of her BMW and said with a smile, Master Jiang, what are you still waiting for? Get in the car. Jiang He bravely got on the car. I feel a bit uneasy in my heart. How do you feel like a breeding sheep entering a wolf's mouth? The vehicle drove out of the construction site and headed towards the city center. It can be seen that Li Xiaolan is a novice driver. She stared intently at the road ahead, her body stiffening, especially when turning or merging into sections with high traffic flow. She felt like her mouth was pulling hard and the speed was still slow. Once the car behind impatiently honked the horn, Li Xiaolan would appear panicked. Jiang He felt like his heart was about to jump out of his mouth. This Nima, I have just launched a cheat and haven't had a chance to reach the pinnacle of my life yet. Don't entrust your life to this female driver today. So. He secretly changed his mind. Do you want to talk to Li Xiaolan about something? Let her relax a bit, maybe the car can drive more steadily. After thinking for a moment, Jiang He said, Old classmate, what are you doing now? It's been a few years since we last saw each other, and this BMW has already been driven. Writing novels. Li Xiaolan stared at the road ahead without looking back and said, I just sold a copyright a while ago. I happen to have some spare money and bought a car. It's pretty good. Is your car a BMW? Surprisingly, there is a BMW with a manual transmission. I don't know either. Anyway, I bought it blindly and used it as a means of transportation. Jiang He said again, you drive quite steadily. When did you learn your driver's license? Hehe. When Li Xiaolan mentioned her driver's license, her expression became unnatural. She turned her head to look at the river and smiled, I'm learning my driver's license, I'll get it soon. You're driving without a license, aren't you afraid of being caught by traffic police? Jiang He was startled in his heart and quickly grabbed the safety handle. It's okay, I don't usually turn it on. Damn it, does this person know how to drive with the high beams on? Li Xiaolan was speaking when she was disturbed by an oncoming car and immediately applied the brakes, stopping the car in the middle of the road. Suddenly, a series of horn sounds echoed from behind. Li Xiaolan sighed and said, besides, I don't blame me for driving without a license. If I have to blame it, I blame the driving school's exam for being too strict. I failed the third subject 5 times. Well, I registered again and took the exam again. Jiang He felt his scalp tingling and felt that Li Xiaolan was more terrifying than Li Gui. He hurriedly said, old classmate, pull over. Right. Just stop here. I suddenly remembered something very important to do. After getting off the car, Jiang He ran all the way and quickly reached out to stop a taxi before turning around at the intersection. On the brand new BMW car. Li Xiaolan looked at the rapidly disappearing back of the river through the car window, feeling somewhat puzzled. Running so fast. It seems that there is really an urgent matter. This old classmate is still too far-sighted. If there's an urgent matter, let me know. Isn't it faster for me to take you there? She sighed and stepped on the accelerator. But the car didn't move. It turned out that I forgot to shift to neutral when I just parked, and the car stalled. Ignite again. Li Xiaolan was muttering words in her mouth, left brake, right throttle. Shift to first gear, lightly refuel, turn the steering. Bang. A muffled sound. Immediately, Li Xiaolan's panicked screams rang out, followed by someone cursing, I wipe, can you drive? You turn to the right of the taxi, you turn to the left. Jiang He is unaware of all of this. Sitting in the taxi, he felt a sense of survival in his heart. This is too dangerous. It is said that female drivers are scary. But Jiang He has never known the specific method of being scary. Today, I finally got to appreciate it. I have taken the third subject exam 5 times but have not passed. How dare I drive on the road? The national traffic law is still not strict enough. Drivers who fail to pass the third or fifth test should be directly deprived of their lifelong driving rights. Undercover slander. The river lit a cigarette to suppress the shock. After smoking a cigarette, the paper binding shop arrived. Scan the code for payment. Jiang He opened the door and entered the paper bar shop, then pulled down the roller shutter door again and went straight up to the second floor. Come to the second floor. Jiang He opened the cabinet and took two ancient books from the suitcase left by the old man. Open, Shangqing Great Cave Scripture, and Taoist Scripture. Jiang He compares them with Shangqing Great Cave Scripture, and Taoist Scripture, he got from the system, and finds that the contents are identical. What situation is this? My grandfather's two handwritten manuscripts. Are they actually true secrets? Can the Yangpingji Dugong seal also be true? Jiang He was shocked and searched for Dragon and Tiger Mountain Heavenly Master on his phone again. The Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master lineage is passed down by the founder of Jianghedaomen sect, and has been around for nearly 2,000 years. The descendant of the Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master lineage today is called Jiang Jintao, who is the 66th generation of the Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master lineage. He was born in Qingzhen, Longhu Mountain, graduated from the *** Taoist Academy, and is the president of the *** Taoist Association. Zhang Jintao's father's name is Zhang Baoshuan, his grandfather's name is Zhang Chang'en, and his grandfather is the 65th generation Heavenly Master of Longhu Mountain. The inheritance of the Heavenly Master in Longhu Mountain is not passed down from father to son or from son to grandson, but rather from brother to brother or from grandfather to grandson, which is not uncommon. After reading the online introduction about Zhang Tianshir's lineage in Longhu Mountain, Jiang He became puzzled. The river faintly felt it. The old man and the Jiang family of Longhu Mountain may have some secrets. Before, he was just an ordinary person who wouldn't think about these things and didn't have the qualifications to think about them. But now that he has activated the system and learned the Shangqing Dadong manual, he has to think about it. Meditate for a moment. Jiang He suddenly laughed. Why bother with the surname of the Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master? The old man said he passed on the Heavenly Master to me, even holding the Heavenly Master seal in my hands. Then I am the Heavenly Master. I have to agree to those who care about Longhu Mountain, and even if they don't agree, they have to agree. In Jiang He's eyes, a fierce expression flashed. The old man's will, he just follows it. As for the secret between the old man and Longhu Mountain, why did he run to Northwest Silver City and stay in this place where birds don't poop for half a lifetime? In the future, I will investigate it myself. I haven't considered the title of Heavenly Master anymore. The area where Jiang He picked it up looked rusty, like a Yangpingji Dugong Yin that was not made of gold or wood. Ding! Detected one top. Quality item. Does the host choose to refine now? At the moment when Jiang He picked up the Yangpingji Dugong Yin, the system prompt sound came to mind. Lying trough. It's really the Heavenly Master seal. P.S. Has anyone read this book? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Do you believe ghost stories? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. A top-notch tool. Jiang He was startled in his heart. All the contents of the Shangqing Dadong manual, opened from the beginner's gift package, have been transformed into his memory. In addition to being a secret cultivation technique, the Shangqing Dadong manual also records several Taoist techniques, as well as a brief introduction to magic treasures, elixirs, and cultivation knowledge. So Jiang He knows the level division of magic treasures. Treasures are divided into 3 levels. Magical tools, spiritual tools, and Taoist tools. Each level is further divided into 4 levels. Inferior, intermediate, superior, and ultimate. Going further up, it's not a magic weapon, but an immortal artifact. So the ultimate Taoist weapon is the strongest magic weapon under the immortal weapon. But on second thought, Jiang He also felt it was reasonable. After all, according to legend, the official seal of Yangping's governance of the capital was personally bestowed by the Supreme Old Lord. This is a magic weapon passed down by Tai Shang Lao Jun to Zhang Daoling, the founder of Longhu Mountain. Can it be an ordinary product? System, how can I refine the Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin? The river opened its mouth to inquire. The system replied, the host can choose to consume a certain amount of merit points to refine the magic weapon, or they can use blood drops to refine it. What is the difference between these two methods? The river is incomprehensible. The system said, the refinement of blood drops requires gradual progress. With the current cultivation level of the host, even if it takes thousands of years, it is impossible to completely control a top-notch Taoist tool without improving one's cultivation level. By consuming merit points for refinement, one can instantly complete the control of the Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin. Jiang He's eyes lit up and he said, then I choose to consume merit points for refining. Ding. Insufficient merit and failure in refining. Jiang He, with a black face, gritted his teeth and said, how many merit points do you need to refine the ultimate Taoist weapon? 100,000 points. Damn it. After hearing the mechanical and emotionless sound of the system, the mouth of the river vomited its fragrance and cursed. 100,000, why don't you go grab it? He brought a small knife, endured the pain and cut his finger, operating the method of refining the magic weapon recorded in the Shangqing Dadong manual, and conducted a blood-dropping sacrifice refining. In the next moment, a brilliant light rose from the Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin. The small seal, originally rusty and of unknown material, has turned into a jade seal. The jade seal is 7 centimeters thick, with a horizontal length of 2.5 inches each. There is also a lifelike and fierce carving of a chi tiger carved on it. What a strange feeling. After the blood-dropping sacrifice refining, it was as if this Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin had become a part of my body, capable of being manipulated at will. A casual finger from the river. Brush. The Yangping Ji Du merit seal has been translated out a few meters. And then pop. Falling to the ground. And the river has a feeling of being hollowed out. Has the mana been depleted? The corners of the river's mouth twitched, speechless for a moment. The Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin is an excellent Taoist tool with great power, but I am just a novice cultivator in the Qi refining realm. For now, I have only preliminarily refined the Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin and have no ability to rely on it for combat. Of course. The essence of the Yangping Ji Du merit seal is not a combat weapon. Put away the Yangping Ji Du merit seal, and Jiang He opened the system attribute interface. Name. Jiang He, age. 22 years old, practice. Shangqing de Dongjin Jing, Dao Fuzhen Jie, cultivation. Qi refining level 1, treasure. Yangping Ji Du Gong Yin, top-notch Taoist tool, merit value. 7 points, storage space. 10 cubic meters. Just now at the construction site, the female ghost in red provided a total of 10 merit points for Jianghe. The river has transformed by 3 points, leaving 7 points. System, convert all the remaining 7 points to mana for me. With a single command. Ding. Conversion successful. Merit value 0.7. Mana value plus 70. This time, Jiang He sensed the growth of his internal magic more clearly than before. Moreover, he vaguely felt that his magic seemed to have reached a limit, and with just a bucket, he could break through. Immediately and secretly operate the Shangqing Great Cave Manual. After a week of cultivation buzz. The river's body trembled. His breath visibly became stronger. After the attribute interface's cultivation column, the original words, Qi Refining Realm Level 1, gradually changed to, Qi Refining Realm Level 2. So quickly did you reach the dual realm of refining Qi. The breakthrough in cultivation made Jiang He feel very good, and he couldn't help but think of the red-clad female ghost on the construction site. He used to think that the terrifying blood clothes and the pale face with blood dripping from her 7 orifices were somewhat frightening, but now he feels cute and adorable. Glancing at the time. It's already midnight. Jiang He took off his robe, took a shower, and lay down in bed. However, my mind was filled with the figure of the female ghost in red, tossed and turned, unable to sleep. So I took out my phone and searched online. Where have ghosts been around Yincheng? The news online is diverse. There are many supernatural events about being haunted, but most of them are difficult to distinguish between true and false. There are 2 things that interest Jiang He more. One is a post posted by a tourist on the Yincheng forum, which tells the story of a strange incident he encountered last month while visiting Wucheng, next to Yincheng, by the Yellow River in Wucheng. There is also a bizarre event that a Silver City outdoor anchor told in a short video. It tells the story of the supernatural event he encountered while broadcasting outdoors at an abandoned school in a small mountain village in the countryside. Jiang He silently noted down his location and prepared to explore when he was free. After all, the red-clad female ghost on the construction site has limited strength. Providing herself with 10 points of merit in a day is almost the limit. Even if you can keep catching her to collect wool, the amount of merit you can collect is also limited. Until 3 a.m. Jiang He just fell asleep in a daze. Soon, he fell asleep. In my dream, I found that the world was filled with beautiful female ghost sisters. Countless little hands, constantly teasing themselves reminder sounds like, merit value +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 are constantly heard. Bang bang. He was sleeping soundly, but was awakened by a knock on the door. The river opened its eyes and realized that the sky was already bright. He walked naked to the window and pulled open the curtains to look downstairs, only to find 2 police cars parked at the entrance of the shop, as well as Wang Jianen's Audi. What is the situation? Why did the police come to my house? The river's heart moved. Is it because of last night's incident? My opening act scared the female ghost. Isn't this illegal? Wait, I'll open the door right away. Shouting towards the downstairs, Jiang He got dressed and went downstairs. After opening the rolling shutter door, a man in a black windbreaker took out a small notebook and flashed it in front of Jiang He, saying, "Hello, Mr. Jiang, we are from the Criminal Investigation Brigade of the Municipal Police Department. I came to see you today mainly to learn about the ghost incident at the construction site in the south of the city." Jiang He blinked his eyes. Criminal Investigation Brigade. Although the man had just swung his notebook with lightning speed, his cultivation had already become a river in the realm of Qi refining, and his eyesight had improved significantly compared to before. He confirmed that he saw on his identification that it was written National Bureau of Spiritual Events Management, not the Criminal Investigation Brigade. The National Administration of Spiritual Events. Is it a special organization for supernatural events? Jiang He's mind flashed with a thought. Since there are really ghosts in this world, there is a special organization behind the scenes, which seems reasonable. He didn't point it out and smiled, "Police comrades, please rest assured that I will cooperate with the investigation. Come in. Come in and talk." In addition to this black windbreaker man, there are 3 uniformed police officers in Tian Qingkai. After entering the paper binding shop, the black windbreaker man looked around and asked with a smile, "Mr. Jiang, you're so young that there aren't many people doing this kind of business." Jiang He bought a few bottles of drinks from the neighboring small shop. While drinking water, he smiled and said, "My grandfather has been in the dead man business for half of his life. Before he leaves, the store he can't let go of is the last thing the old man thought of. I can't give up." "Are you really good at catching ghosts?" The man in the windbreaker turned around and looked at the river. Jiang He smiled and said, "When I was a child, I learned a few martial arts from the old man. I couldn't make it to the table, so I just had to make a living." "Have you seen the female ghost on the construction site?" the man in the windbreaker asked after him. Both Tian Jiwen and Li Xiaolan knew about this matter, and there was nothing to hide. Jiang He glanced at Tian Chenkai and said, "Uncle Tian, did Tian Jiwen tell you about this?" "The matter has been resolved, and the female ghost has also agreed to move. When you choose a cemetery for the female ghost, I will help you handle it. Mr. Jiang." At this moment, the man in the black windbreaker spoke again. He looked at the river, frowned, and said, "In theory, this is your business. According to the rules, I shouldn't get involved. But that female ghost is committing crimes and harming people's lives. It's not good for you to just let her go like this, right?" Jiang He raised his eyebrows and said in confusion, "Harming lives? Police comrades, could you have made a mistake? That female ghost is not inherently bad. Based on my understanding, it was Uncle Tian's construction site that disrupted her rest, which was why she appeared and threatened a group of workers, trying to scare them away. And she also said that she had not harmed anyone." The man in the black windbreaker was shocked and sneered, "Mr. Jiang, do you also believe in the lies?" "That's not necessarily true." Jiang He said calmly, "In today's society, people talk nonsense, and some people may not even be able to do things that ghosts can do. If we talk about the evil of human nature, even ghosts may have to stand aside." Jianghe. "This is true." Tian Chenkai let out a bitter smile and recounted the case of Ma Laowu's wife, saying, "Someone on the construction site was hit by a ghost before, and their mouth was filled with cement ash. So this was probably done by the red-clad female ghost in 19 or 10. Oh. The river's gaze flickered slightly. He is not aware of the relevant details in the case, but through his brief interaction with the female ghost yesterday, he just feels that the female ghost is extremely timid. It's okay for her to scare people. Let her go kill. It's really not possible to do it." After thinking for a moment, Jiang He said, "This is simple. After nightfall, let's go to the construction site and ask that female ghost clearly. If she really caused the person, then I overthrew her in the beginning. If she didn't cause the person, then this matter would probably be your dereliction of duty." Jiang He glanced at the man in the black windbreaker. "P.S. Has no one read this book? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Murder, Possessed by a Fierce Ghost. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Incheng. Not far from the city police station, there is a small noodle shop. At this moment, Ma Laowu and the others are waiting at this noodle shop for a meal. Compared to his buried wife's family, a group of fierce and vicious relatives, Ma Laowu's already dry and thin physique appears even thinner. "Brother Law, why don't you eat?" A man was holding a clove of garlic, sucking on his face. Seeing that Ma Laowu had not moved his chopsticks, he raised his head and asked, "Can't the mixed noodles stop your mouth?" The other man's eyes widened and he cursed, "Eat your food, what the hell are you doing?" Seemingly angry, the man slapped his chopsticks on the table and poked Ma Laowu's forehead with his fingers. "Look at you, you're such a coward. My sister was really blind back then. Why did she marry you, such a jerk?" Ma Laowu lowered his head and remained silent. The man poked several times with his fingers and gritted his teeth, saying, "My sister died on the construction site. They sent you 380,000 yuan. Is human life valuable? Is human life valuable? I have inquired about the person surnamed Tian, who runs his own construction company. His sister also owns a tower crane rental company with a family value of tens of millions. Not too many points to come back, right? Your wife and my sister. Ma Laowu had already lowered his head, his eyes flushed with blood, and he said hoarsely, "Brother, why don't we just forget it? The police station requires an autopsy and the Zhuangzi person has been buried in the ground. If we dig it out again, we'll have to open the intestines and break the belly. Isn't that okay? What era is it, still paying attention to these things?" The man was furious and cursed, "It's okay to stop making trouble. Zhuangzi has left, but my mother is still alive. It is the duty of children to support the elderly. If you give us 100,000 yuan, consider it as elderly care. As soon as the money arrives, we will leave immediately." "I don't have any money." "No money." The man sneered, 380,000 yuan, it's only 2 days. Are you lying to ghosts? He is the brother of Ma Laowu's wife. It's Ma Laowu's uncle. Ma Laowu has a weak personality, and usually these uncles don't look up to him very much. At this moment, there is even more recklessness, with a group of people mocking Ma Laowu. With just one word from you, I scolded Ma Laowu. Sister. Family affection. At this moment, no one mentioned it at all. It seems that they are more concerned about how much money can be demanded based on this matter. Ma Laowu, on the other hand, lowered his head and remained silent. The bloodshot in his eyes grew more and more, almost covering the entire eye socket. His figure was even more hunched than last night. On his back, the figure of the female ghost gradually solidified. The ghost seemed to be stimulated by the words of those men, and its already hatred and resentment-filled face twisted. A touch of blood appeared on her body. This streak of blood, initially only a little, gradually spread. A violent aura that ordinary people cannot perceive is brewing on her body. Ma Laowu, I'll make the decision for you on this matter. On the police station's end, they said we'll give them 1 day to investigate. Then let's give him 1 day and wait until early tomorrow morning before we go to the police station to cause trouble. If the police don't handle it, then let's go to the construction site. If his surname Wang doesn't pay, I will make it impossible for him to start work. Ma Laowu raised his head, with blood shining through his red eyes. He grabbed his chopsticks and stabbed his uncle's eyes fiercely. Puzzy. Blood shines everywhere. Ah 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 ah. The big, rough, and ferocious uncle covered his eyes and screamed, falling to the ground. Brother. I said. Stop making trouble. Ma Laowu's voice was hoarse, his eyes were even more bloodshot, and a strange expression appeared on his face, as if crying and laughing, and he grabbed a chopstick. Poop poop, aimed at his uncle's other eye and stabbed it in. No no. Uncle has been stabbed blind in both eyes and should not have seen anything. But at this moment, he seemed to see the terrifying ghost on Teacher Ma's body. He screamed and said, Brother. Sister. Wan. Brother is wrong. Puzzy. Another chopstick was stabbed out of Teacher Ma's hand, and surprisingly, it pierced into his uncle's neck. Teacher Ma's hunched figure stands tall and straight at this moment. He stared at the other men and chuckled hoarsely, Stop making trouble, okay? Inside the paper binding store. The black windbreaker left a message, See you tonight, and left with 3 police officers. Tian Chengkai took out 30,000 yuan from his bag and placed it on the table, saying, Jiang He, thank you for last night's incident. You can keep this money. When we choose the cemetery and move the bones, Uncle will have to trouble you. If it had been before, the river would definitely not have collected this money. Even if we accept it, we can't accept so much. After all, at the beginning, he had a mentality of going through the motions. But there are really red-clad female ghosts on the construction site, and I have also solved the problem myself. This 30,000 yuan is well deserved. Uncle, then I won't be polite. Jiang He smiled and accepted 30,000 yuan. Seeing that Tian Qingcai's face was a bit pale, he pondered for a moment before saying, Uncle, are you still worried about things on the construction site? Hey. Tian Qingkai let out a bitter smile and said helplessly, if something like this happens on the construction site, it's all fake to say it's not troublesome. I hired a lawyer and followed the laws and regulations to pay the compensation before. Now that the family of the deceased has caused trouble again, I can understand it. But if they want 180,000 yuan, it's okay. Even if they give it hard, it doesn't matter. But now the family of the deceased is asking for 1 million yuan with a big mouth, what should I give? Rubbing his temples, Tian Qingkai looked distressed and complained to the river. Don't look at Uncle's stall being so big, everyone outside praises me for being rich in crops. But managing it up and down every year requires a lot of money. Plus, I've been working hard these past few years and it's not easy to earn money. Every year, I have to borrow money from the bank to pay workers' wages. It's like 1 million yuan all at once, and I really can't come up with it. Tian Qingcai's mood can be understood by Jiang He. He thought for a moment and said, Uncle, as the old saying goes, there must be a way to get to the front of the mountain by car. There may be some hidden truth to this matter. Tian Qingcai's eyes lit up. Jiang He said, I dare not guarantee you either, but from yesterday's contact, I don't quite believe that the female ghost will kill. Everything will naturally come to light when we see that female ghost again tonight. The two are chatting. Tian Qingcai's phone rang. It's from the police station. Whispering all over, Tian Qingkai thought the group had gone to the police station again and answered the phone with a worried expression on his face. What? However, after connecting, Tian Qingkai stood up with a startled expression and asked, Really? Bring the river over. Okay, I got it. When Tian Qingkai hung up the phone, Jiang He was surprised and said, Uncle Tian, what's the situation? Something's wrong. Tian Qingkai took a deep breath and calmed his mood, saying, Ma Laowu killed his uncle and younger brother, and his wife's cousin was injured twice. The deputy captain of the municipal criminal investigation team just called and said he wants you to come and help. The river's heart moved. Can I come over and help? I don't know how to solve cases. Jiang He could guess in his heart that the person who invited him over was probably not a member of the criminal police team, but the black windbreaker of the National Special Affairs Administration, who had just come to the paper binding shop. He asked himself to go over, is it a supernatural case? Tian Qingkai drove the car and quickly brought Jiang He to the crime scene. A cordon has been set up outside this small noodle shop. Outside the warning line, many people were surrounded. At the entrance of the noodle shop, there are large blood stains, and a forensic doctor is taking photos to gather evidence. As soon as the river arrived, the black wind-clothed man in the noodle shop walked out and smiled, saying, Mr. Jiang, you are a member of the Taoist sect, and your sensitivity to evil monsters is more sensitive than that of me, a martial arts practitioner. Give me your palm. Drill into the warning line. Jiang He followed the man in the black windbreaker into the noodle shop. Inside the noodle shop, everything was in chaos. On the ground, 2 corpses lay horizontally. Perhaps because the deceased struggled before dying, blood stains were everywhere on the floor of the noodle shop. A strong smell of blood spread across the surface, and even the noodle shop was buzzing with flies flying one by one. Especially one of them, half of his face was gone. The forensic expert squatting in front of the body gave a professional judgment and said, based on the scars, this half of his face should have been bitten off and forcefully torn off. By the way, there should be surveillance footage in this store. Have you checked it? Where did that half of his face go? My face was eaten by the killer. The person in charge of monitoring is a young police officer. After answering the question, he vomited and ran out of the noodle shop. It's okay if you don't vomit, it makes the river feel a bit nauseous. Suppressing nausea, Jiang He looked at the entire noodle shop, carefully sensing and vaguely seeing strands of black air drifting inside. What a heavy energy. Has the murderer been possessed by a fierce ghost? Besides the red-clad female ghost on the construction site, is there another ghost? In an instant, Jiang He once again became suspicious of his previous judgment. He used to think that Ma Laowu's wife might have been killed by Ma Laowu himself, forged into a supernatural case. Otherwise, why wouldn't he accept a forensic autopsy? But now how did another ghost emerge? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. True explanation of Taoist talismans, suppressing evil and driving evil. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Soon, Jiang He walked out of the restaurant. The scene is too bloody, even some police officers can't stand it, let alone the river. Behind me, the man in the black windbreaker also followed out. He lit a cigarette and sent another one to the river. The first time I've seen such a tragic scene. Without waiting for Jiang He's answer, Hehe held his cigarette at the corner of his mouth and smiled. Let's get to know Qin Feng, Deputy Director of the Xixia branch of the National Administration of Spiritual Events. Hello Director Qin. Jiang He extended his hand and shook hands with Qin Feng. Seeing the river without much surprise, Qin Feng's heart couldn't help but move. This guy, do you already know your identity? However, on the surface, Qin Feng didn't show much. He smiled and said, Mr. Jiang, don't praise me. Our sub-bureau doesn't include logistics and civilian personnel. There are only 9 people in total, and I'm just a deputy. Oh. 9 people. Qin Feng seemed to have said before that he practiced martial arts himself. That is to say, there are 9 people like him stationed at the Xixia branch of the National Administration of Spiritual Affairs. After all, it's not very familiar yet. Jiang He didn't ask much, but after a few pleasantries, he got straight to the point and said, Director Qin, my judgment is similar to yours. The yin energy in the noodle shop is very strong, and it is likely to be caused by evil. Possession of a fierce ghost. Qin Feng had already speculated, with a worried expression on his face, grabbing his hair and saying, in recent years, these demons and ghosts, as well as the presence of yin and evil things, have become more and more frequent. They can be possessed and kill people in broad daylight. I'm afraid they are a ruthless character. Seeing Jiang He smoking and not speaking, Qin Feng tentatively asked, Can Mr. Jiang help? Can you help catch ghosts? Rivers are moving. I am worried that there is no place to brush up on my merits. Perhaps we can collaborate with the National Administration of Spiritual Affairs. However, we cannot let Qin Feng see through our own ideas, we need to let him know. It's Qin Feng who has a request from me. Jiang He didn't immediately agree and asked, Director Qin, isn't there anyone else in your bureau? Capturing a little ghost is still simple. The entire Western Xia province, consisting of 5 cities, 11 counties, and several 9 administrative regions, has a total of more than 10 million people. The 9 of us are simply too busy. Qin Feng smiled bitterly and said, it was okay before last year, and supernatural events in various regions were not frequent. However, since the beginning of last year, supernatural events have occurred frequently in various regions, and the 9 of us have been running throughout Western Xia. Yesterday, I had a partner. But in the latter half of yesterday night, another water ghost incident occurred in the neighboring city of Wucheng, and my partner went to Wucheng overnight again. Jiang He looked puzzled and said, Director Qin, I am a cultivator. It is my duty to subdue demons and exorcise them. But my Taoist skills are still shallow. Is Taoism still shallow? I have investigated the incident at the construction site in the south of the city last night. According to 2 witnesses, you scared that ghost to the point of jumping off a building. As for the name, Taoist Heavenly Master, Qin Feng also heard it from Tian Jiwen's mouth, but he didn't pay much attention. It was just a small place like Yincheng where someone acted under the name of Heavenly Master. In the Dao Gate, there are a total of 4 lineages inherited by the Heavenly Master. One of them is Su Sun and Zhang Daoling, Gu Xian, and Sa Shoujian. The Su Tianshi lineage, which was once plagued by a dispute over orthodoxy, has now hardly developed inland. The other 2 lineages have long since lost their inheritance, with only the Dragon and Tiger Mountain lineage remaining to this day. The Zhang Tianshi from Longhu Mountain is a contemporary Taoist leader and a rare expert in the world. Anyway, Jiang He didn't use this name to show off and deceive, and Qin Feng was too lazy to ask. Jianghe is a native of Yincheng. And they also know how to do Taoism. Qin Feng's first idea was to establish a good relationship with Jiang He. Even if he couldn't be absorbed into the organization, it would be great to ask for his help in case of unexpected situations. Seeing the river hesitating, Qin Feng said again, "Mr. Jiang, don't worry, we will definitely not let you help in vain. Our organization has a bonus system. Dealing with and resolving supernatural events will result in corresponding merits. This merit value can be exchanged for cultivation resources with the organization, or directly converted into money. I will report to the organization and give Mr. Jiang a certain fee according to the organization's regulations. How about that? Isn't this too good? If you have merit, you can still earn money. How could there be such a good thing?" Qin Feng was moved by the river and quickly said, "It's all within the rules, and we often ask talented people and scholars from all over the country to help. There is a dedicated budget for the organization." With everything on the point, Jiang He couldn't refuse. He immediately said, "Okay, I can help, but I need you to provide the location of that fierce ghost." "No problem." Qin Feng's face lit up with joy and he said solemnly, "That fierce ghost is actually possessed by a person. It must not be able to hide from the surveillance cameras. With the help of the city bureau, we should be able to find him soon. Then I'll go to the store first and contact you by phone then." The river did not stay much. He needs to go back and prepare. After all, this fierce ghost possessed and killed people as soon as it appeared, which is not comparable to the little female ghost last night. If you are not fully prepared, don't let the ghost catch you and end up playing cold. "Mr. Jiang, I'll see you off." After sending Jiang He out of the warning line and watching him get into a taxi, Qin Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Jiang He agreed to help. Otherwise, no one else in the bureau would be present, and as a warrior with limited means to deal with the ghost, it would be quite difficult. Around 12 noon, Jiang He returned to the paper binding shop. He ordered a takeout. But before taking a few bites, I couldn't help but imagine the scene I saw in the noodle shop today, and my appetite was completely gone. Set the takeout aside, Jiang He found talisman paper and brush, and began drawing talismans. The true explanation of Taoist talismans, obtained from the beginner's gift package, has transformed into memories of rivers. However, it remains to be practiced whether it can be drawn or not. Moreover, many talismans also have high requirements for strength, and their strength is insufficient. Even if you know how to draw this talisman, what you draw in the end is just a scrap. After preparing the necessary talisman supplies, Jiang He did not directly start writing, but closed his eyes and pondered, comprehending the true interpretation of Taoist talismans. Like the great cave scripture of the Upper Qing dynasty, the origin of the true explanation of Taoist talismans is enormous. It is claimed that Zhang Daoling was taught by the Supreme Old Lord in his dream, recording hundreds of types of Taoist symbols. With my current strength, I can only make basic talismans, such as divine power talismans and divine action talismans, and the effects of the talismans I make are limited. Another thing is the Zhenxie Chu Sha Fu. This talisman is not only the basic talisman, but also the core of the true interpretation of talismans. The power of the finished talisman is closely related to the strength of the person who makes it. Jiang He took out the true explanation of Taoist talismans, left by his grandfather, and began to study it. Above, There are some personal experiences recorded by the old man that I couldn't understand before, but now after studying, I find that there is a feeling of sudden enlightenment. Jiang He picked up his pen and began drawing symbols. He drew the Zhenxie Chu Sha Fu, which is extremely restrained against the evil spirits and is not difficult to make, but has extremely high growth potential. The stronger the maker's strength, the greater the power of the talisman. However, after only a few strokes of the Zhenxie Chu Sha Fu, Jiang He frowned. Wrong drawing. He took another piece of talisman paper and began to draw the talisman again. Scrap talismans fell to the ground one by one. From less than 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 6:30 in the afternoon, the sun had already set outside, and discarded talismans were scattered all over the ground. Only then did the river successfully draw its first demon-suppressing and demon-repelling talisman. It's done. Jiang He's face lit up with joy. However, when it comes to the next picture it failed again. No, I'm a bit excited. I have to maintain a mindset. Taking a deep breath, the river calmed its mind and continued to draw symbols. This time he painted extremely slowly, taking a full 20 minutes to finally draw the second complete evil-suppressing and evil-repelling talisman. It took another 19 minutes for Jiang He to draw the third anti-evil and anti-evil talisman. Just finished writing. The phone rang. Mr. Jiang, I found it. On the phone, Qin Feng spoke solemnly and said in a deep voice, at the construction site in the south of the city. P.S. It seems that no one has read this book. If anyone has read it, please provide some data. Thank you. Qin Ming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Ghosts also have needs. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The construction site in the south of the city. Jiang He was taken aback and asked, does Tian Chenkai belong to his family? Qin Feng. Yes. Okay, I got it. Come over right away. Hanging up the phone, Jiang He's face looked a bit strange. Does Tian Jiwen and his family have a easily recruited ghost physique? The female ghost on the construction site hasn't been solved yet, and another fierce ghost has run away. I didn't think much about it. Jiang He focused his attention on the 3 Zhenxie Chu Sha Fu on the table. Offering the Yangping Jidu merit seal, Jiang He grabbed the jade seal, used his magic, and stamped it on each piece of talisman paper. Buzz. On the talisman paper, a faint radiance flickered away. Yangping Jidu Gongyin, stamping and adding seals on Taoist symbols can enhance the power of Taoist symbols. After refining the Yangping Jidu Gongyin, Jiang He already knew this. Put away the Yangping Jidu Gongyin and 3 Zhenxie Chu Sha Fu, locked the store door, and Jiang He waited at the store door for about 3 minutes before finally stopping a taxi. However, it has just fallen into the night. Traffic congestion on the road. The taxi ran for half an hour before reaching the entrance of the construction site. After paying the fare, Jiang He got off the car and walked into the construction site. At this moment, more than 10 police cars have been parked outside the office of the construction site project department. A police officer wearing firearms had a solemn expression on his face. Tian Chenkai and Tian Jiwen's father and son have both come. As soon as Jiang He walked into the construction site, Qin Feng welcomed him. Director Qin, where is Li Gui? The river used to be quite relaxed, but when I saw the battle, I couldn't help but feel nervous. The ghost is evil, and firearms and ammunition have little effect. But I'm afraid. If I accidentally go off fire later and the ghost doesn't hit me, and then kill myself, wouldn't that be a huge loss? Qin Feng pointed to the rooftop and said, it's over there. The lights around the construction site have been turned on. Although it is dark, the light is not bad. Jiang He looked up, but on the roof of the unfinished building before meeting, a figure stood at the edge of the roof. As long as he took one step forward, he would immediately fall into a mess. What situation is this? The river froze for a moment. Qin Feng quickly said, that guy is Ma Laowu, but now he has been possessed by a fierce ghost. The demon that controls Ma Laowu should be a female ghost. I just talked to her and she was very emotional. She threatened to die with Ma Laowu. Jiang He couldn't help but laugh and cry, saying, she has already become a ghost, how can she die? She can't die, but if she jumped down from here, even if Ma Laowu had 10 lives, he wouldn't be able to fall. Qin Feng looked a bit big and said, there are negotiation experts at the police station, but that ghost doesn't even have to talk about it. I dare not call the fire department over, after all, Ma Laowu is now possessed by a ghost, and the ghost's thinking cannot be based on common sense. The fierce ghost needs to be eliminated. But people can still be saved. After thinking for a moment, Jiang He looked at Tian Qingkai and asked, Uncle Tian, how has the matter with the female ghost in red been handled? When is it now, still mentioning the female ghost in red? In fact, the most urgent thing about this matter is Tian Qingkai. Special, I have suffered something in my previous life. The construction site is haunted first, and the murder case will occur later. Just a few days ago, what happened again? If Ma Laowu were really controlled by that fierce ghost to jump off a building and commit suicide, then his own project would probably be finished. Before he could speak, Qin Feng smiled bitterly and said, Mr. Jiang, when is it all? The matter with that ghost can be slowly resolved. This fierce ghost could jump down at any time. Qin Ju, don't worry. Jiang He glanced at the unfinished building and said, in this situation, even if I can deal with that fierce ghost, I'm not sure I can save Ma Laowu's life. If that female ghost is here, maybe she can help a little. Are you saying? Let that female ghost save people. Qin Feng understood the train of thought of the river, but he still shook his head and said, no, the ghosts are evil. They are already transformed by resentment and malice. If these things don't harm people, they are already grateful. How can we expect them to save people? The hustle and bustle of the world is all for profit, the prosperity of the world is all for profit. Jiang He said calmly, even ghosts have needs, so it's not necessarily impossible to talk about them. Tian Qingkai finally understood. His eyes lit up and he said, Jianghe, are you confident? I have arranged the cemetery for that female ghost. Although her bones have not been excavated yet, I have sent someone to find the specific location. I will take you there now. This. Qin Feng feels a bit awkward. The original intention of the establishment of the National Administration for Spiritual Events was to slay demons and ward off evil spirits. Now, you're going to talk business with a ghost. Under the leadership of Tian Qingkai. Jiang He and Qin Feng arrived at the basement, and according to the location of the building, they arrived at the southwest corner of the basement. As soon as you come here, you can clearly feel the decrease in temperature. Rivers can even see the fainting energy floating in the air. The hardened basement floor has been cut with a 2 by 2 meter gap. There are traces of flipping on the exposed soil. Tian Qingkai knew that Qin Feng was a member of the public family. He glanced at Qin Feng before saying, I have checked with professionals and they have confirmed that there is a tomb below. The so-called professionals are actually tomb raiders. In the past few years, treasure mining was prevalent in Xixia province. Especially in the mountainous areas of Zihegu, a few years ago, many people did not even farm or work. After buying a treasure detector online, they searched everywhere, especially after some people became wealthy overnight, and more people flocked to the treasure exploration ranks. But where are there so many treasures underground? Many things are tombs from earlier years. Now, they just dug it up. It's not difficult to find someone who can explore treasures with the connections of Tian Qingkai. The river didn't ask much, but turned around and smiled at the air. Little girl. Don't hide, we're all at your house now. Don't you come out and say hello. Qin Feng. He widened his eyes and looked at the river. Can you still say hello to ghosts like this? For a while. There was no movement. Jiang He's face darkened and he said coldly, I'll count to 3. If you don't come out again, I'll send your bones to the crematorium. Who? A gust of wind blew by. The female ghost in red appeared out of thin air. She had her feet 3 feet off the ground and her head almost pressed against the top of the basement. Her bloodshot eyes cast a resentful glance at the river, and with a hint of fear, she said, You human, you're so annoying. How could you bully ghosts all day? Did I bully you? The river is speechless. He opened the door and said to the mountain, All right, don't look so aggrieved. Your 7 orifices are bleeding, and making such an expression won't make anyone feel pitiful. I came to you today to ask for your help. No help. The female ghost in red seemed to know the origin of the river and directly refused, saying, What are you meddling in the family affairs of the couple? Besides, that person, damn it. He can even take action on his own wife. His wife turned into a fierce ghost and asked for his life, which he deserves. Once this statement is made, Qin Feng and Tian Chengkai stood still. On the contrary, the river showed a look of, as expected. P.S. Seeking monthly tickets, flowers, tips, reminders, and evaluation tickets. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.